Texans fans, how are you doing? I'm still buzzing after that win against the Steelers this past weekend, but it's on to the next one. I'm going to be giving you the top Texans to watch up against the Atlanta Falcons this weekend. Maybe we're doing a watch party, maybe not. I'll tell you how we can do that later on in the show. But before we get into the top Texans to watch, I have a couple news items that I got to break down per Aaron Wilson this morning. First one coming in, he said, with Kendrick Green out with a torn meniscus, I made a short on that yesterday, updating y'all. He is moved to IR. Surgery is most likely, per sources, replacing him at left guard with center Juice Scruggs and Josh Jones. Not an option this week because they're not back. Texans have options including Michael Dieter, Jimmy Morrissey, and Nick Broker. So, first up, Kendrick Green moved to IR. That means in-season IR, he's going to be at least out 4 weeks, if not more. But the Texans could shuffle some guys around. They could make some moves here and there. Aaron Wilson mentioned 3 guys that might fill in at left guard, but then later on today, he kind of floated out a different idea, which I kind of like this idea a little bit more. He said the Texans' offensive line could be left tackle Laramie Tunsil, left guard Titus Howard, center Jarrett Patterson, right guard Shaq Mason, and right tackle George Finn. That's just one configuration the team could use Sunday against the Falcons and will work on this week. So I'm going to put the ball in your court. I want to hear what you have to say about the Texans offensive line. Where should they play Titus Howard, being that he's going to be back this week after being on short-term IR? Everything is pointing towards Titus Howard playing this Sunday, but will it be at right tackle or will it be at left guard? What do you have to say at home? Type RT for right tackle, type LG for left guard. Let me know what you think. Where should the Texans play Titus Howard this Sunday? And wherever they end up playing, whatever news comes out, you know we're going to break it down here on the channel. Subscribe for the latest Texans news and rumors all year long. And you see that number right there. I told you, if we get to 5,500 subscribers by this Sunday, I'm doing a watch party. We are 73 subscribers away from having a Texans versus Falcons watch party. Help my dreams become a reality. Go down and hit that sub button or go to youtube.com/TexansTV. And you already subbed, go ahead, send that link to a couple Texans fans, friends, family, whatever you got. Tell them, hey, this guy, he's breaking down Texans news and rumors every single day. Every sub is appreciated. Appreciate all of y'all. First up on my players to watch up against the Atlanta Falcons, linebacker Christian Harris. He was playing like a man with his head on fire against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Team leading 13 tackles against the Steelers. He was all over the place. He was running east and west, north and south, everywhere on the field at NRG. And Christian Harris, second-year player out of Alabama, he's been playing pretty well under new head coach DeMeco Ryans, another linebacker out of Alabama. But I'm really excited to see his development throughout the season. But he's got a big test ahead of him because the Falcons, they have one of the most electric running backs in the league right now with Bijan Robinson. Can Christian Harris and company put a stop to Bijan? He's been making guys look silly. I've been seeing all the highlights. You saw the weird Toy Story configuration of him shaking out that dude out in London. Can the Texans contain Bijan Robinson? Can they keep him at bay? That's going to be the big question this Sunday because Bijan Robinson right now, he is the Falcons offense. But what do you have to say at home? This is a tough one for me. Over or under 100 rushing yards for Bijan Robinson against the Texans this weekend. You think he's going to go for over that? Type O in the comment section. If you think it's going to be under, type U in the comment section. I can't wait to hear what you have to say. I'm kind of torn between this one because I think Bijan, he's their whole offense. They're going to feed Bijan the whole game. I think total yards, I think I'm going over. But rushing yards, I think I might go under for Bijan Robinson. He's been utilized a ton in the passing game, like the screen game, short passing game with Desmond Ridder. But rushing yards, I think the Texans could keep him under 100 this weekend. Next up, it's got to be big man Nico right here. Nico Collins, one of the standouts this past weekend. I mean, if you had him on your fantasy team, you probably won with these type of numbers. 7 receptions on 9 targets, 168 yards. Let me say that again. 168 yards against the Pittsburgh Steelers, and not one, not two, but yes, 2 touchdowns against the Pittsburgh Steelers. And he was rocking and rolling this past Sunday. My man Nico, what's up, guy? My man Nico was killing it. Hey, we said it in the preseason. We said it before the season even started. Every single publication, who's the Texans breakout star? Who's the Texans X Factor? The easy answer, this guy right here, Nico Collins. He's proving everybody right because Nico Collins has showed out so far and proved that he can be a leading receiver on this team, be a wide receiver 1 for C.J. Stroud. I love what I'm seeing from big number 12 right here. Next up, players to watch against the Falcons, Dameon Pierce. We finally saw Dameon Pierce out from the shadows. He was non-existent in the first 3 games, but Dameon Pierce finally made an impact. The running game finally made an impact against the Pittsburgh Steelers this past weekend. He got some juice going. He got some motion going. He was able to get some positive yardage up against the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I want to see that continue. Let Pierce eat. Let this young man go to work because I think that's just the beginning. A slow start for Dameon Pierce, a lot to do with the offensive line. And, before the season, I had said this sentiment. I said the running game needs to help out C.J. Stroud in the passing game, really get going. They need to rely on the running game to then go into the passing game. Now, I'm thinking the adverse is what it is. I think C.J. Stroud in his passing game is really going to help out Dameon Pierce in the running game because C.J. Stroud's put a lot of teams on notice. The Texans' passing attack is for real. So I think we're going to see a little lighter boxes, teams spreading it out more. And what does that mean? More running room for Dameon Pierce. Not to mention Laramie Tunsil, Titus Howard going to be back this week. I expect a big game from Dameon Pierce because teams, I think they're going to start trying to take C.J. Stroud away, this passing game away. Then what does that lead to? More running lanes for Dameon Pierce. So before it was running game going into the passing game, now I think it's passing game going more into the running game. We have a couple more names to get to in just a moment, but I got to show some love to our sportsbook sponsor here, BetUS. And they have the best deal on the internet. Go to chatsports.com/bet, promo code chat125 for a 125% deposit bonus. What does that mean? That means if you put in $100, they're going to give you $125 for free to bet with. And why not lay that cheddar down on your Texans winning the division? All 4 teams right now are 2-2. They've all kind of beat each other up so far. Texans have as good a shot as anybody, but tied with the Colts for the worst odds at plus 450. So my question to you is simple. Would you bet on the Texans to win the division right now? All teams are equal. All teams 2-2 right now with our sportsbook sponsor, BetUS. Would you bet on the Texans to win the division? Give me a yes. Give me a no. And if you're typing in yes, why not do it with our sportsbook sponsor, BetUS? 125% deposit bonus when you go to chatsports.com/bet, promo code chat125. Next up on the list for players to watch against the Falcons, Steven Nelson. He has shown out. I know he had that little tiff with Nick Caserio in training camp, but honest to God, he's been the best cornerback the Texans have had this year, bar none. He's really been a shutdown corner, has really showed what he's had, and leads the Texans in interceptions with 2. And this sweet one against the Steelers this past weekend. Steven Nelson, good stuff. Good stuff. Now, the Falcons don't have an elite passing game whatsoever. Desmond Ridder has been cheeks, to put it nicely. He's been cheeks. But they do have some talented guys. Drake London. Maybe you see Steven Nelson match up against Drake London this weekend. I expect Steven Nelson to get another pick this weekend. Desmond Ridder has been careless with the ball. Maybe the Texans get a couple more interceptions this weekend against the Atlanta Falcons. And last on my list so far, Sheldon Rankins. He got some big praise from DeMeco Ryans this past weekend. And I just got to say, Sheldon Rankins, he's been really good. You can just go to me full screen. It's okay. DeMeco Ryans, he had said he had a great game, great effort. Rankins had the best game of the year attacking, and that's how we should look up front. And I can't agree with you more, DeMeco. Sheldon Rankins looked fantastic against the Pittsburgh Steelers. And the Texans, that's kind of what they needed this from last year. That's why they brought him in free agency. They needed a run stuffer. They needed a big body up the middle who could control the line of scrimmage. Sheldon Rankins has been just that for the Houston Texans. Pleasantly surprised with how he's played so far. Really, a lot of the free agent additions for the Texans so far have played very well. Sheldon Rankins being one of them. I expect him to have a big impact. Like I said earlier in the show, Bijan Robinson, he is the Falcons' offense. If Sheldon Rankins can shut down the middle of the line, the A and B gaps, and not let Bijan Robinson run in between the tackles, force him outside, I think that's a win for the Houston Texans. And you didn't think I was going to get this show going without mentioning this man right here, C.J. Stroud. And I shouldn't have to tell you about C.J. Stroud because, of course, you're going to be watching C.J. Stroud. He's the main event, baby. He's got everybody saying, C.J. Stroud. Yeah, number 7 is going to be cooking this weekend. You already know. C.J. Stroud, he's the franchise. He's the QB1. He's the one everybody's coming to watch, and he's going to put on a show in the Mercedes-Benz Stadium up against the Atlanta Falcons. I don't have to tell you to watch C.J. Stroud because you're already watching C.J. Stroud. I'll tell you that right now. Yeah. And if you want to follow me on Twitter, go ahead and follow me at Jeremy Chuggs for the latest Texans news and rumors. And don't forget, I want to do a watch party this weekend, but I need your help. You got to subscribe. I'm 73 subs away from being able to do a watch party, Texans versus Falcons. I need your help. So go down there, sub for Texans dubs, and let's have a watch party and beat up on the Dirty Birds from Atlanta.